Welcome our viewers to the Uganda Cricket Association Premiership Division, the match between Avengers Cricket Club and Kutchi Cricket Club. In with me is our new in the comms box is a new person in the field to come and as we dissect today's match for our viewers.
Good morning, Leno.
Good morning, Sisi.
Thank you. My name is Sisem Sime. I'm not new to the cricket fraternity. I've been around for some time, and it's quite a nice morning. The sun is out. Uh, we are here to entertain our listeners. And just a brief, the game has started. Lennon, are you aware?
Yeah, the game has started.
Yes.
Of course, Kutchi Tigers winning the toss earlier on in the toss there. When they elected to bat as usual, they will always want to bat first, the team they are. Of course, Avengers, in the face of being relegated this season, second last in the division, win with points equal with Wanderers Cricket Club in the seventh and sixth respectively.
I see a nice look there from the fielder.
By Soloka bowling from the Shellen here at Logogo Cricket Oval. Sun is out, a little bit of cloud in the sky. Ground has been electric since the weekend started. Of course, yesterday Soroti City was here, blazed a massive 338 against a new side in the Division 2 Group A match. Of course, entering there, getting the better of Soroti City, who still lead that group. But here we are for this game, for Sunday game.
First boundary.
Of course, this is an electric field. There, the batter just using the space of the ball. Speakers down there, no protection at the third man area.
And then he is bowled.
Fire,
So the batsman goes back to the dugout.
Fire Soloka gets draws first blood for Team Avengers there. Shy celebration there from Team Avengers. They know that the first wicket doesn't get the job done, but it will feel good as they draw first blood. Kachi Tigers lose the first wicket in the second over.
And it is 6 runs. The first over. and they are left with one ball. Go to the second over.
Coach Fire Soloka there. Very, very important wicket to break that opening partnership. It can always be lethal for Kutchi Tigers as always. Breaking a very, very brutal partnership is always key. Your batter gets off in a solid block. A good piece of bowling from Fire Soloka.
First over done.
Nasta Girish. Ooh, that's a beauty of piece of a delivery. Beautiful rudder there from Nasta Girish. Nearly took off the outside edge of the batter. Dropped cut there at the slip region. Soloka there dropping. I think it was a little bit short of him. Chance dropped there. Of course, Avenish Vekaria there getting his second run. That was a bit of a delivery. Good spell there from the opening bowlers of the Avengers side. Of course, they want to always get on top of the game as quickly as possible to try to losing that toss earlier in the morning. Left. Beautifully blocked there. Find the skipper in the mid-off region who will collect beautifully. Avengers a pretty decent side, but they haven't found that rhythm they have got. Beautiful win they got here. a couple of weeks ago against Wanderers Cricket Club, chasing a mammoth 230 runs. Beautiful play by the skipper there, who led from the front. Of course, Avengers. That will be 7-1 for Kutchi Tigers after the third over. Paya Soloka will continue with his second from the shell end. Of course, there is a noticeable change in the Avengers side. Of course, their star player, under 19 player this year, Christopher Chidega, missing in action. He lost his father. He's so rest in peace. All wish to may the Lord give him comfort in this difficult period. Of course, Avengers not only having Christopher Chidega as the under 19 star on their side, have appraisal patrolling there the cover. Cricket cranes.
What a shot. It goes for a boundary. It goes for a boundary.
Very beautiful shot there from Avnish Vekaria. Beautifully played. Of course, Bayasoloka, they are pitching it up for the batsman. The batsman pounds on it like never before. Beautiful shot there. Field is very electric. That ball just went through that boundary like a lightning. Right from the screws. Avnish Vekaria scores a back-to-back boundary there. Think he's not going to let Bayasoloka get over him, conceding that pressure. Of course, Avengers are on top, but I think the batters will say that we shall not step a foot down. Let's step on the pedal and get the scoreboard running. It's 15-1 for Kutchi Tiger.
15-1. Kochi Tigers. Projected score has been estimated to be 215 runs, and our current run rate is 4.3.
But Sisi, third in the row, a third boundary in the over. Today it wasn't a bad ball, it was a length ball. But Avnish Vekaria bounces on it. Of course, there is that gap between covers and that fielder in the middle. Beautifully struck for four. Avengers are 19-1. This over is very, very expensive, Azali, which is not favorable for the, of course, it's not favorable for the Avengers side, being that field is electric, and if you don't control this as early as possible, it can always get brutal at Lugogo.
Yes, you can see Kochi Tigers are being strategic. Abnish Vekaria hitting so far 15 runs, and Hiren Kerai is still at 0 runs.
Yeah, beautiful cricket there by Avnish Vekaria. Decides to block that one off, but that's the intent. Kwachi Tigers already play in their games. They always take the bad balls on. If you deliver such delivery, those three, except the third, which wasn't actually bad, but I think it's the rhythm of the batsman that kept him going, that he can hit it. But mind you, there is still that gap in that region. Shouts of an appeal for an LBW. But of course, standing umpire Matthias Kamukama there in today with Abi. We'll say no. The score is 19-1 after 4 overs. We are the league game, the Premiership Division of the Uganda Cricket League. Men's League, sponsored by Leica Mobile. Via Nasta Girish coming over to correct errors after that expensive over from the shell end. Because two block balls there of no runs yet. Kachi Tigers playing their ninth match of the game, while Avengers playing their 10th as we head into the second round. But of course, currently Kachi Tigers are in second place, of course, having the same points with table toppers Ceylon Lions, who got a brilliant win over Rounders last weekend, over Avengers, sorry, last weekend, the team they are playing. Very good knock from the skipper, one. But that's inside edge there. Just goes through backward point. The fielder fumbles, of course, they will take a couple. As I was saying, currently Avengers is seventh placed with only 5 points. Of course, same with Wanderers, but Wanderers slightly ahead with a negative run rate of negative 0.5. You would say it's a battle between David and Goliath, but cricket is always cricket. Nasta Girish bowled some beautiful rudders since the morning began. And that's the end of the sixth over. The score is 20 for 1.
20 for 1, 21 for 1, and at least Hiren Kerai gets off the mark. He has registered his 2 runs to his account.
The captain will entrust Paya Soloka to continue. Oh, great fielding there by that field at the short third. Anything you touch here in Lugogo, the field being electric, might turn into a boundary.
The energy of the young man stopping that ball. It was really a big, hard shot. So he just stopped the boundary because it was really, really, really fast.
Beautifully driven. You will find a seasoned Muhammad Hanif there patrolling the point cover region. Good stuff there. In the previous ball by Arthur Ali. Of course, we are in the beautiful logo for cricket. Sun is turning up, shining. Fire Soloka being expensive, trying to make up his errors, but beautifully timed there. I'll take a single.
Six over, two balls delivered. 22 for one. Kutchi Tigers.
That's belted over the fielder who looks to be in the game, but will do beautifully to save that four and save a couple of runs. Well done there, Namidala Shafiq.
Cricket is interesting. One hits the ball so hard, then gets in the air, pitches down, thinking it's going for a six, but ends up not making the six and finding a good fielder who stops it from making a boundary.
Yes, that's why coaches always tell us run fast, runs hard. You never know what might happen. Full toss punished. 4 runs. Beautiful shot there. Very good partnership building up between.
Avnish Beccaria and Helene Kerai.
Very beautiful. Of course, Avnish there trying to lead from the front currently at 22 of 20. Very brutal. Told you the other partner who he lost earlier in the morning, his opening partner. If they had been together, they are quite brutal and they can take the game away from you. Very good cricket. Knocks off a boundary. The next ball immediately just says, wait on. But that's the end of the sixth over. The score is currently at 29 for 1. Kutchi Tigers losing a wicket earlier on in the morning. Caught Nitin Jeshani falling just after hitting only a 4 of 3 balls to Paya Soloka, who has looked to be very, very expensive.
When we look at this partner, you can tell they are communicating. They have a strategy. Every time one is hitting, every time one is making a run. And for the wicket that went out, it was it was one that was bold. Let's hope for the best for this partnership.
A bit of miscommunication there. Very, very close there for Avengers. There was a bit of miscommunication and poor running between Avnish and Hiran Kerai. Of course, of us, Hiran Kerai looking to give strike to Avnish, who is striking the ball beautifully. Could have ended up being running himself out there as the keeper.
Yeah, cricket is interesting. There's when one takes a risk, but sometimes the risk is worth the risk. Kutchi Tigers at 29 for 1. We are now in the seventh over, 2 balls delivered, and run rate is 4.83.
Bit of an edge there. We'll find that fielder in the third man region. Namidala Shafiq, and they will take only a single. Of course, Kutchi Tigers looking to get to make it a double after winning the 2024 Premiership Division season. Bit of a side which is so resilient. Their style of play has really favored them. A team which will give each team a headache Of course, they have only lost one to Intare, rather Abojo, formerly known as Nyakashura. Of course, the game which was here, very, very brutal batting from Nyakashura in that chase. After Avengers really putting on a cheap 100 and less than 150 runs earlier this season. Of course, after that, they have always done their business in the right way. Others were winning, probably an unknown result there.
Yeah, with this beautiful weather, we don't want to assume it is just Cisse and Lennon watching the game. We'd also want to let you know you see fans around, you see young kids around. You can't tell which team they are supporting, but at least you can tell their eyes are towards the players from the action that is happening.
Of course, a lot of youngsters around and regular fans here to watch the Sunday League cricket here at Lugogo. But that's the end of the seventh over. Score is 31 for 1. Avnish currently start steadily at 23 of 23. Costing the brutal one. Hiren Karai just rocking back at 4 for 16.
At this rate, we see the bowlers so far, and Nasta Girish has made four overs, and at the look of things, Oluka Pius has come in for his fourth over, but he has bowled.
See, as we are giving us some statistics, there has been a fall of another wicket. There, Payasoloka being expensive, but is the one in the business picking up the aggressive Avnish Vekaria. Hold him, another ball. It's the beauty of the game. You can be under the pump, but you are on top of things. Of course, now Avengers have their second wicket in hand. Kutchi Tigers are 31 for 2. The openers are all back into the heart. What's the gameplay for Kutchi Tigers? Beautiful bowling there by Pius Oloka. You can see there the skipper telling him, you just ball it in front there. Let them look to play. You miss a hit. Of course, being aggressive has been one of the things the Kutchi Tigers team has been with, the character they've been with, but they have always fallen short of because of that characteristic. They tend to lose wickets in quick fashion, end up setting up totals which are very mere or negligible. But again, they are a good side in both innings. Remember, they beat Avengers at Entebbe earlier this season. I was there personally, setting up a 66. Very, very amusing game. Kutchi Tigers set up 66 early in the morning. But again, Avengers failed to chase that score. Very, very interesting.
We see a fresh batsman coming in, Hassan Ashan, and he starts off with a four,
That
opening up his account.
the white for 4 runs. That will be 5 whites. Very important in the stage they are in. Because I believe after losing that opening partnership between Avnish and Nitin earlier on, of course, the next pair of batsmen will look to build on that. Have to stay in the game with just 8 overs being played in the innings. You don't want to give away your third wicket as early as this. And of course, you can see what Paya Soloka is doing, trying to just bowl straight to the stumps, probably get the batsman to swing, have a swing at it and miss it, put in the LBW into play and the stumps into play. Quite expensive, but quite effective. Paya Soloka.
Kutchi Tigers at 36 for 2, and this is the eighth over.
Paya Soloka charging in his last ball, the over. Tico down there looking for a single. They won't take any, and that's the end of the eighth over. Fruitful and dividend for Avengers after picking up that's very, very important wicket of a batsman who was building up with momentum. Avengers on top of things here earlier on in the first power play, and the score is 36 for 2. Nasta Girish from the Ginger Road end will be replaced by Yunus Oobi. There, good man who can has some good channels there. Try to find his run up as soon as possible. Of course, getting that corrective very vital early in the innings. You don't want to make a mistake of no ball. You have to get that rhythm and line right.
And I see the umpire is trying to be patient with him for the attempts he's trying to, to get to see that he gets his rhythm to bowl.
Have you ever wondered how many times you accepted that?
Please remind me.
That's right. 3 times. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'll not say 3 times. The batsman can't keep waiting on you to get your line right and your strikes. But I've seen it bowlers do it on numerous occasions, and sometimes it's frustrating. Because sometimes a bowler tries to bowl but taking his time.
So you, the batsman, you why get frustrated? I would think that would be chance for you to also now gain momentum to
I-
see how
I'm
you
simply
feel.
frustrated because you're wasting my time. I want to get on with the business. I'm getting pulled down. I'm warmed up pitch. Why don't you bowl and I hit you? You're warming me down.
I think
But
in every game there are always tactics to see how we frustrate our opponents. That's a new one for cricket,
yeah,
being that it is an opportunity for one
yeah.
to see how they can pick momentum.
That will get the tip of the bat and get past the keeper there. It was a chance for Avengers. And they will get a beautiful boundary there to the screen. Welcome boundary the moment they had the Kutchi Tigers. Of course, that was a wide one. Hiran Kerai, very destructive. He's not gone upon quickly. Just scavenged one there, very wide from the Ulster, very, very wide. That was a wide ball that gone through. Was speaking on those strides earlier on. Yeah, it's a tactic used by batsmen. Normally, you can see a batsman trying to take another stance before he gets back ball. Probably you are thinking, has my plan changed? Does it? You're going to destroy me. I tried to ball what I was thinking. So you try to retract back to your steps so what you are going to deliver. Probably, yeah. Very good technique, but of course, to me as a batter, if I'm up there, I feel frustrated every time a bowler comes and goes. Nicely punched there. Iran Kerai, very good with the bat.
When you're watching the players playing, sometimes it's tricky to tell who is a left-hander and who is a right-hander. You have to have your eyes glued to how the batter is holding the bat.
Heidi stuff so far from Unisobi. Built beautifully, except that four. Because that's what we call luck. Bit of luck for the batsman there. Just edging one between that second slip and the keeper. Because for four, being the ground we are on, very electric and flat. You have to be tidy as a fielder, tidy as a wicket keeper, tidy as a bowler. Any mistake you make, that ball will run quickly to the boundary.
If you look at the scoreboard, it's 41-42 for Kochi Tigers. It is interesting how they are making the runs, but then there's that batsman who has not yet deposited a run to his account.
I'm somebody who has always believed that Kachi Tigers' potential is so high. The group which deals a lot in boundaries, they take a few singles and doubles, but the way they bat, I think they can create more for themselves. Because we've seen it, no doubt they can chase any score. And that's where it gets even, for me, I wonder if this team can work on the singles and doubles. They can put 300 total every Sunday they go out to play. So for me, I believe despite them losing those 2 wickets, I think there's still great depth in the batting, and it's just how they apply themselves out there.
Yeah, Oloka Pius continues to become harder with his bowling. There was no run made.
Yeah, of course, understandably, they're thinking of the captain there. Of course, you will have to keep on it, the wicket taking person there, Oloka Pius. Quite expensive, as earlier I said, but very effective. Of course, getting the 2 wickets of the openers of Jeshani and Nitin Jeshani and Vekaria. Nitin Jeshani very quickly was dismissed. Of course, third in the ranking batters for the Premiership division. So it was really great work there from Paya Soloka.
Being that it is a Sunday, I would wish to assume second service is done, and there are those who are planning to come down. We are now in the 10th over. Today is a game of 50 overs. Lennon, what do you have to say about that? Did you go to church today? Or you pray
Of course,
online like me?
I couldn't, and I won't lie because of my beliefs. I'm Christian. I was preparing for this game earlier in the morning, just getting back in the statistics and not much preparations. It's quite beautiful that talked about here. Very good to go to a church, to a mosque on a Friday to thank the Lord and praise Him or whatever you believe in, as people might say.
The interesting bit is COVID changed everything. God is everywhere. So even here, God can see. We thank Him for the
Yeah,
day
like
and
we said,
for
you had an online session, so they were very effective for you, and that's very good. But that's the end of the 10th over, the end of the first power play. Score is at 41 for 2. Unisobi will continue his spell. That will be the dot of his second over.
as Eunice Swaby continues with his spell, the umpires are also taking note of every action that is happening.
Robert Abbey there, very experienced umpire in the league there, has had many this season. Of course, he will be an important man in such a game. Of course, alongside with Mr. Matthias, the square leg region. Very nice looking in the I always like calling it a London hat. Beautifully played there, full toss by Sobi Yunis, pounced upon by Hiren Kerai. Beautiful shot there. with no remorse there, was fully overly overpitched. And Hiren Kerai said that I will not make a mistake on this one. The runs are getting hard to get by, and I can't let this freebie go. That brings up the score to 45 for 2 after 10.3 overs. Bit of some looseners there from the Avengers bowlers. Beautiful cricket there. Will take a scamp overrun, and both will get to their ends. Master Girish giving us a very, very good spell earlier. Of course, wicketless still, but bowled 4 overs with 19 dot balls of good amount and only conceded 6 runs. Look up Pius bowling half of his spell, 5 overs. 30 runs, quite expensive, almost a run a ball. But that will be the end of the 11th over as proceedings are going. The score is 46 for 2. The Avengers side has quite a number of seamers, including the renowned David Wawire, who changed this season from Ceylon Lions to Avengers. Of course, Avengers were looking to beef up their squad after a poor display of the first round of results earlier on in the season. They decided to go up for the speedster, who, from information I've got around the circles, has taken almost 8 months without playing cricket since last Saturday as they were playing Ceylon Lions. Of course, the captain decides that to keep on via Soloka. There, a boy from Ginger says who featured for Uganda in the under 9 2022 World Cup, if I remember. Very beautiful history there for him, being part of such a such a team can change your life and be part of such good history for that game. Of course, as we said earlier, Kutchi Tigers will look to go slow in their proceedings as they've lost very early wickets. They won't look to lose another one as yet. Might cost them to score a lot or two. That's pounced upon, short pitched, but beautifully fielded by Appraisal, another under 19 player who went to Nigeria, part of that team. Very beautiful batting from him. Probably a lack of runs in his last 2 innings, but the first, probably he must be Avengers batter who really played. Very beautiful shot there, timed, will rest away to the boundary, but David Wawire will collect that. The player will take a couple only. Very beautiful off the back foot there, back foot punch there by Hiren Karai. Sun out there scorching, almost heading to 11, 6 minutes to 11 a.m.
In the game of cricket, as a batter, I always assume it's dangerous not to have a run. Then what do you have to say about that? Because the strategy Kutchi is using, it's like one batter is pressing all the balls.
I don't want to say according to plan, but I think the Avengers The last four overs, they have really beautiful, bowled beautifully. And after losing those 2 wickets, I assume you try to take things slow. You don't want to go for anything without thinking twice. So it probably could be the evidence why Hasina Shani just 11 ball no hasn't scored off 11 balls. But that will be the end of the 12th over. The score is 48 for 2.
And which reminds me, we are now playing the 50 over game. Not so?
You're right. Need to be very patient. Of course, you could see their communication from the keeper, probably telling that 12th fielder, prepare helmet, probably signs of a spinner. That will be the captain, Yashashki, probably to come in. Delay to pick up that ball, probably to give the other bowlers. And for me, it has always been one of the things I think Avengers is how they go through with their bowlers. They have quite a number, but how you choose who bowls when it's a problem. Sometimes you see Sowobi bowling late, very late in the inning, almost in the 30th over. The ball has already worn out. There is no swing at it. Of course, you're just using the speed behind. And sometimes the captain, their go-to bowler, their prime, decides to take on the ball as early as the first power play and reach the 30 side. He has nothing. He has nothing he can offer to the team after he has completed his 10 allotted overs.
Yeah, at the look of the statistics of the bowlers, Oloka Pius is the man with 2 wickets.
This is
Yeah, I just got an inbox. Someone surprised is listening to me. That's nice. Yeah, it is all because of cricket. I'm happy to see that it's a man's match, but two different genders are here to talk about what's happening. This is to encourage the women out there in sport, in cricket. Yeah, let's not leave this opportunity to the men on. Every day is a learning day. I'm also learning, and I'm having my good teacher here, Leonard, who has given me some very good notes. I think I'm not doing badly.
very, very fine. Pick on away fine. Another boundary there by Karai. The overturning, sorry, Ashani. The overturning to be very expensive for Avengers. Of course, so Obiun is not getting that line right, being all over the place, conceding two consecutive boundaries, and of course, white before that boundary tells you a lot about that length he's bowling. Not consistent with it, because the batsman can only pounce on those delivery. There, an overstep by Paya Soloka. No bat happy indicates the free hit. Very brutal for him in this over, already conceding 10 runs, looking to give away another. She will not look to give away another hit, but not for bowling slower balls there like that. That finds the gap. The fielder will have some legs behind it and will find a boundary there as indicated by the umpire. The over now at 14 runs conceded. Of course, the fielder is giving him that sign, that look of disappointment. The bowler, of course, you could understand it's slow bowling, but it wasn't. It go to plan. The batsman was ready for it and got a dividend of 4 runs.
With that boundary, Kutchi Tigers is now at 62 for 2, and we're now at 13th over, left with one delivery to close off the 13th over.
Cut away hard, but they decide to put a man deep in the sweep cover. And that will be the end of the, after taking that run, there will be end of the 13th over. Score is 63 for 2. Kutchi Tigers now in the driving seat of proceedings. Runs getting in by easily. The moment it will be very interesting to see the bowling changes by Yashashvi. Of course, taking the matters into his own hands will replace Haya Soloka. We are yet to see Asa Ali. We are yet to see David Wawire bowling. Because Yashashvi there among the top wicket takers in the league. Very effective in his own way with his left arm, right arm off spin. I would say, of course, dropping a man there in the, should I call it an orthodox backward deep mid wicket? I don't want to call it fine leg because it looks a little bit at an angle to the batsman. Then he has a man in the deep mid wicket, a man in a long on region. He has opted not to go for the sweeper cover deep because the batsman, of course, Yashashvi there, co-highest wicket taker with 21 wickets with Tembo Zubaya. Very interesting because the last teams at the bottom of that pile are the one with the top wicket takers. So it clearly shows you where the area they need to improve. The bowling is okay, but now what can you do for the batting? You need to be able to chase runs, score runs. Because if you have a man like Tembo who has 21 wickets, both a speedster and an off spinner with 21 wickets, but again, the teams you are in, they are both at the bottom. Then it clearly shows you where you can improve your area because the bowling is not your problem. The bat.
For those who have just joined us, it is Kutchi Tigers versus Avengers. And today is the 50 over game. We are now at 65 runs for 2 wickets and halfway the 14th over. And at the look of things, it is a projected score of 235 runs with a current run rate of 4.7. So this is the first innings as we progress on.
Understandably, the spin has to get in because, as usual, he will fall his first 4 overs with pace and come with some off spin in his next spell. Is Nasta Girish. He has always done that in this league, and probably they are a spinner down, goes for the sweep and will effectively get a boundary there. Kuchi Tigers are at 70 for 2. Asin Ashani, very good batsman there. Very good with his technique. Very good like that sweep. Very good cricket. They'll run down for a single. After that, go to the square region.
Hassan Ashani with four boundaries in his account, and Hiren Kerai with 2 fours in his account. And Hiren Kerai has 16 runs, as Hassan Ashani has 19 runs.
Yes. As I told you earlier, Hasina Shani was on 0 of 10 balls, but currently riding over. Great work in the field there by Yunus Soopi to cut off those 2 runs. Of course, that was a bad ball from Nasta Girish. Very full. But as I said, the batsmen will look to play very cautiously, protect that third wicket, probably build a partnership. But for me, what I'm liking that they are mixing up the boundaries with the singles and doubles. And you can see that the projected score has risen up to now 250 runs. Of course, they are keeping the scoreboard tick.
At a certain point, I was feeling sorry for Hiren Kerai with his 0. But it's so impressive. He's now at 17 runs. So this is very tactical with the batsmen.
Yeah,
Being that it's game day, would wonder whether to stay like this. But with Kampala, weather is very unpredictable.
signs of shouts of an appeal there from the Avengers. And the batsman looks perplexed by the decision given there, but he has to take the walk. Avengers strike their third wicket. Very good bowling there from the captain himself, Yashash Vijoshi. Of course, Ishan Ashani, who was looking to be very in good touch off the field, and that will be drinks break. We are back after that long drinks break. Players have refreshed. Sisi, what have you done for that drinks break? What have you had?
My
It's
cup
some
of my cup of coffee is right
very
in
nice.
front of me.
Just to
For
keep.
you, what have you had for your drinks break?
I've been diving into the analytics of this game, but I would say for me it has been an equal session for both Avengers and Kachi Tigers. Kachi Tigers up in the 70s. Avengers picking 3 wickets. though quite expensive in the early overs. So I believe the game is at 50-50. I believe that losing the wicket, that third wicket before the drinks break was a bit, would a bit wound the the Kachi Tigers team. I'm not saying that they would be in to lose the game, but losing a wicket always affects the way you, especially when you're setting a set batsman like he had actually picked up some momentum. Now that he's gone, you expect them now build another partnership. Of course, starting slow with a new batter on.
That's interesting, Leonard. If I may ask, what would you be comfortable with despite the toss if you are a player? Because you mentioned something to do with setting. Excellent. Thank you very much. I see fans walking in. I can assume church service is now done. Hmm? Church service is now done. So the fans also give us morale. We have the fans we see physically, and we are also happy for those who are listening in to us.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day to watch cricket. The fans are coming in, support their teams. Of course, you could understand why there's been a slows. Earlier, the wicket has fallen, a new batter is in.
So now we are at our 17th over, 78 for 3. Kutchi Tigers still doing their batting.
Shakuma Vasani there, looking to be aggressive right from the balls he has faced in ball one. Of course, in the previous over, they're losing that wicket. Because I believe that the Avengers team will be very, very wary of another partnership to build because you can be very wary of, you can wear yourselves out in a 50 over game. So you need to take opportunities, create those opportunities and take them. But that's the end of the 17th over. The score is 78 for 3. Yashash Bijoshi, the skipper, will continue from the shell end. His third over, of course, very productive in his previous, picking up that vital wicket of Vasani. Of course, the singles keep ticking. Of course, the field is well spread out for the skipper. Very well set field. You have to go hard. You have to go in regions like the extra cover, what you call it, fight to the third region. But it's a bowler who will always go for stump to stump bowling.
So Yashashi Joshi has a wicket. This is another over, and it seems like they're restricting the batsman from taking another run.
Yes, that one was swept. Not well timed beautifully, but will manage to get a couple. They were looking to get the second, but I think the batter on strike didn't look comfortable to take that one. Of course, the sun is now out of the way. Bit of a big cloud over the atmosphere. The singles, if the boundaries are not coming, you try to get the singles and doubles. But that's the end of the 18th over. The score is 81 for 3 for Kutchi Tigers. Master Girish continues bowling from the Ginger Road end. His sixth over. Of course, bowls the four with a little bit of speed, what I'll call medium pace, trying to bowl some left arm off spin. Good strategy. I think he's bowling beautifully. But for me, that would be interesting is that the bowlers who will bowl after this player, who are their changes? Of course, Oloka has quite a number, 4 overs to bowl. When Soobi came in, looked quite expensive from the Ginger Road. And of course, Soobi is a bowler who has a lot of overs they will go to. But it's always, I think, it's just you just don't have to waste a lot of energy bowling a lot of speed. That's why sometimes I think even Nasta Girish just comes and just bowls some spin around after bowling that first spell of in his overs with speed. So get a single, just getting that gap between that point field and the covers. But that will be the end of the 19th over. Very quick errand runs between the overs. The score is 82 for the loss of 3 wickets. Of course, mind you, there is a flip fielder in there. Abza, Abrazali. Of course, the batsman looking to just play off the spinners. You will always look for that. Some bit of aggression. Fielder will tidy it up there. So Obi Yunus. Very good fielding in the deep. Very good block there from Vasani Kushamka. Kishamka. Shapuma. Very hard names to pronounce there. Lengthy name. Understandably why you need to play off spin. But again, you need to look for those runs because it's not that he's bowling the magic. You just have to look for for the gaps in between that field set. Beautifully placed there. They'll manage to get a couple after that tidy work by their Unisobi. The ball looking to follow him all throughout the over. And that will culminate that over with only 3 runs. And the score is 85 for the loss of 3 wickets after 20 overs.
The game seems to be flowing. 20 overs. We are almost halfway to the 50 over run. And I see Wabwire coming in to bowl because now Kutchi Tigers are at 85 for 3. Let's see what happens with Wawire's bowling, if they'll make any runs.
Of course, an interesting change there. Of course, no credit away from him. But after not playing 8 months, a lot can change. But of course, we all know him very dangerous with that short pitch delivery. Just have to pray one doesn't get to your ribs.
For the record, at least Wawire, I know he's a medical personnel. He's a doctor. So the worry for the ribs, maybe he may have a solution.
Get you in the field and treat you outside the field is Wawire coming in to replace Nasta Girish for the 21st over. Of course, as I said earlier, the team has a lot of seamers. Of course, Abraza last weekend came in with some good, though expensive, but it was some tidy work with that off spin there. Very good one. Just a back over length delivery, but solidly blocked. Solid block there from Hiren Karai. Hiren, very patient with the bat, just 24 of an 54 deliveries. But it's right now what they require. Otherwise, if they that's as you can tell, that run rate they are moving at just keeps dropping each time they lose a wicket. Short pitch delivery there. Hiren Karai will pounce on it with a pull shot. So Obi Yunus there will do that tidying it up in that deep mid wicket region. Of course, that fielder is there because of that short pitch delivery. Could be a catch somewhere in that spell of his bowling. Young lads, watch out at the boundaries. Could be ones lofted up. Protection at the sideways of the boundaries. Of course, they will settle for only a single. Yes, a person like me who was first Wawire in his prime days and was still, I would say, boys' school cricket, playing boys' school cricket. think that's when you play a lot of your cricket where you are so energetic. Boy, what my boy, his delivery was known across the whole nation. Very quick on you, and it had that bounce and height. He was part of that team which went to Zimbabwe and took Uganda to the World Cup.
Wabwire is a tall lad, and it's interesting how these bowlers do their thing. His run up is from a distance, and the energy he puts on that ball. Even you, the batter, you have to be tactical to see that you get a run out of him. So we see batters have made at least a single.
But that's the end of the 21st over. Wawiri doing beautifully, just conceding only 3 runs. That over, the score is 88 for 3. Yashash V. Joshi will continue with his third over. 1-2 down the track, beating that fielder in the long on region there, all the way for a maximum by Hiren Karai into the 90s for the team total for Kutchi Tigers. Beautifully timed shot there by Hiren Karai. Very destructive batsman and patient in his stroke play. Ooh, nearly, nearly got some bit of bat on that before it went on the pad. Ren Karai currently at 32 of 60 balls with 2 boundaries and 1 maximum. And he will get off strike with a single. Very beautiful cricket from the lad.
It would depend whether when would it be? Are you talking about when I'm wicket keeping, or well, as an individual, there are certain things we believe in. I think first we have to take on the role, but if someone feels is not comfortable with the helmet, probably you have to let that player build up the confidence and also set a reminder. But regarding the cricket game, I know you need that helmet, whether I want it or not, because being that That ball is very hard. You never know where it may strike. So you need that helmet.
Yeah, true for protection purposes, of course. Of course, it's Australia. Some years back, recently, lost a very good batsman. Probably he was wearing a helmet, but so bit unlucky that the ball got a certain bit which wasn't unprotected on this part of the head and couldn't recover from that in hospital. So it's especially now that in fact there is an ICC rule now that if you're under 19, you can't go out there in the middle without a helmet.
I would think uh, every aspect of the game applies to every individual. Let's not only look at the age. Mentioning of that, uh, we are now developing into a culture where we need to think of our players' well-being and safety. And I'm a trained safeguarding officer. I don't know where we are at now in Uganda cricket, but those are some of the things we need to put emphasis on. For those who are taking it for granted, maybe as we get there, the best option I think where people react so fast is when you put a, a, a a money penalty there someone. But if it is just by what someone may take it for granted.
Of course, and I really and I think Uganda cricket has done it. Have documented what the umpires are doing. They always tell you, are you ready? Are you comfortable? Are you sure about the decision you're going to make? Because it's not easy. For example, a guy like Wawile David, holding short pitch delivery, one can just get off that crack anything and just hit you right, not where it's not supposed to hit on that head. So I think even if it's a no spinner as low as probably Yashash be falling from the other end, I don't think it's wise, like you say. You should always just take that precaution, that protection first as you play. Very good to get to the three-figure mark there by Kachi Tigers. Ooh, beautiful radar there by David Wawire, almost getting the edge of Vishikuma, Ki- Kishaku, Kishankuma Vivasani.
Those are Indian names, eh?
Very long and
There's being long, but there's the she and se and where
what's funny, sometimes the name is mixed and you know another player who has the name and it comes from the back. So it's Umavish. Very common.
yeah, for us with our heavy tongue, we shall see how
But that's the end of the 23rd over. We are now at a three-figure mark, 100 for three for Kachi Tigers. Other games going on right now in the Premiership Division. Rounders and Tornado Peas at Entebbe Cricket Oval. Rounders are setting and at 75 for three at 21.5. Abojo versus Wanderers Cricket Club. There, Abojo, of course, won the toss and elected to pass, and they are at the Kamengo Serenity Cricket Ground and at 90 for three as action continues.
here at Lugogo it is Yashashavi in Joshi coming into attack. With his first delivery, at least they take a single.
Missed that one. Probably hitting outside off stump, outside leg stump. Of course, a strong partnership building on here. The Avengers try to get a good score.
So is cricket. At a certain point, he ran Kerai in so many overs, was at zero. He's now still in, not out, with 35 runs. And Kushmal Vasani with 10 runs. And we're at the 24th over with 101 for three.
It's a patient game. It's a patient. You need to be patient. Give you a chance to be out there and probably get just keep kicking the scoreboards. Runs will come. Your shots will come. Get into play. Beautifully fielded there, but won't stop the pair from taking a single.
That courage was good enough. I think when the sun is out, people are hesitant. The weather's changed a bit. You could see it was a risky run they took to get that run.
Of course, to control your body, not to tire out there. Yet the innings is even yet to reach halfway. The umpire jumping out of the way, almost getting him. Just that hits the stumps there at the non-strikers end. But that will be the end of the 24th over. The score is 102 for 3 after 24 overs.
So as we get in the 25th over, Wabile David coming to attack.
Dave Duawire coming in to bowl his third of his spell. Of course, very good, very, very, very good there. Not making a lot of anything, any fuss there in his first couple of overs. Of course, just a little bit of change in the field. That's why there's a bit of delay. Just hailing, rightly placing that fielder in that third man region correctly. Nasta Girish looking to drive his Vasani, but misses out on that one. Of course, even Muhammad Anif could chip in with some off speed. Deep leg side there, but we'll find a fielder rightly placed there. Namidala Shafiq. The player will only take only a single. Beautifully blocked out there.
This is when you wish the weather stays like this all through. Why have no excuses? No excuses for heat.
It's a
You
bit of
know,
a
with
red
heat.
sea.
Yeah, with heat. Eh,
With points online. I don't think it will be right in the players' minds to be with such a cloud over their heads. Because for them, they will be praying it shines. They will die and tussle it out in the sunshine than having a threat on their 2 points to lose or to share of a cloud. Bit of a slower there from David Wawire. Batsman looking to pull, but misses that out. Misses that one. Of course, there have been been a, been a, there's been a very slow hitting in the past 5 overs. You will understand after that drinks break, batsmen will look not to go big, just protect that wicket, probably dig deeper into the innings as the runs come slowly. Beautiful shot and outstanding effort, which will go for nothing there to bring out a boundary. Of course, very welcome to the Kutchi Tigers camp and their fans pitching it short.
For those around, if you realize, Basani has been attempting that shot for like 3 times until when he hit that last shot and it got him the 4 runs.
Of course, David Wawire there, very bad delivery, pitching it short and on the body of the batsman, just using the energy. Same shot, almost same result, just clipping it leg side, but we'll find that fielder in the deep mid wicket. But that will be the end of that 25th over. We are halfway the innings. But the score is 108 for 3.
From the 25th over, uh, Kutchi Tigers managed to make 6 runs. David Wabile being the bowler.
Slog sweep all the way for 6 there. Hiren Karai onto the charge. Very beautifully played there by Hiren Karai. His go-to shot. But what a shot there, Sisi. Course 4 away shy from a 50. Hiren Karai currently at 46. Will pouncing on that fully pitched delivery. Will cricket there. Just blocking one off.
In this world, there is a statement that says people meet and mountains don't meet. Have I said it wrongly?
Oh, Sisi, you said it right.
Yes. Now, Lennon, when was the first time we faced each other? Not in a commentary box. Right. What a super six. And it goes over the wall. Let me hope there's no car parked there. You can hear in the background the fans are clapping. For another ball. Thank you, Lennon. Just as a matter of fact, as I had earlier mentioned, I would want to call myself one of the first women in cricket. By then, we didn't have competitive play. Uh, how I came to Lugogo so many years back in the interest of sport, along which I got to learn that there is cricket. Because I was passionate about sports, I got to learn what cricket was. When I came to Lugogo, I came with a passion for volleyball. But being that Lugogo is a sports village, if I put it that way, that is how I came to have interest in cricket. Actually, it was like they were looking for female players, and I have my famous coach, Coach Kamani. Yeah, he was a development officer there, a very, very good coach. I know many of us have gone through him. But when he tried to put this game to the women, as you know, with baby steps, he put starting with the people around, which was the case. We had ladies, but he was calling us from our different sports disciplines. Then I remember there are girls they put from volleyball, there were girls they put from hockey, and there were girls they put from boxing. But because I was in my vacation, I took on that opportunity. But with time, I realized I had to study. So training became my challenge. But still, I would find time to train. But as they realized the game was growing, still to be on the team, you needed to train. But because we are not making numbers, so the strategy changed, go to schools. When it went to schools, they took it to Gayaza and I'm trying to remember, was it East Kololo? One of the
Yes, that
schools. Yeah. So with that, uh, when they brought the school girls to compete, you realize they were training back in their home fraternities, like they were training from school. And we here at Lugogo, we're also having a different training. So they tried to mix us. But practically, it is hard to join a team if you know you're not been training with them. There were those brave ones like Franklin and I forget the name. She was from boxing. She was a very, very good hitter who hung in there and they kept the sport growing. I realized the best I could do was watch. I had a dream to probably serve. Her commentary is now, I feel I'm serving. I've been on the women's committee as a member, and the biggest part of it all is I'm coming in as a my sport. I'm trying to emulate to the other women cricketers. It's not only about playing. There are other opportunities you can take on with all, whether you volunteer or you're non-volunteer. So my being here is my first time. Then thank you for accommodating me.
welcome.
And Edgar for giving me this opportunity. But I know being there was may not be the best of the best, but every day is a learning stage. It's a process, yes. So for the ladies out there who felt were dropped, let's not only think about being on the national team. Yes, there are these opportunities that you can take on. This is a men's game. This is a men's game. So I would also want to hear more ladies come in and do commentary. By the time they bring me to do commentary on a men's game, that means they know the aspect of trying to do diversity of having women involved in sport. And what you mentioned about cricket being an Olympic sport is very, very important, very key. So let's think positive on how we want to serve the sport. The sport will always be bigger than any of us. Yes.
Great stride there from the Uganda Cricket Association from joining the big body of the Uganda Olympic Committee. Probably we shall dive that into CC later about the benefits of. But currently the game is moving on. Of course, David Wawire, very bowling beautifully and very economical, just conceding 11. Bowling is fourth of the spell. Of course, Yashashvi being very expensive in the last over. Hiran Kerai stepping on the gas pedals, hitting one out of the park, but two maximums there in the same region, slog sweeps. But Hiran Karai has really batted beautifully, patient in his innings and been has blown hot and cold throughout these innings. And I guess it could be turned into something bigger if Avengers can't get a plan to get him out.
I've learned in cricket there's nothing beautiful than making a century. So I see already Kutchi have now a player, a batsman who has made his half century.
Yeah, one of the things I learned yesterday, it doesn't matter in cricket. I always say this: a century is a century is bigger than a double hundred. I don't know. For me, it's what I picked up from yesterday in the game between England and India. There is a there is a batter coming in at 5. Already the team has got two people hitting hundreds above you. But the way you celebrate that century at number 5 shows what it means for somebody to hit a century. It doesn't matter who you are to hit that century, something big in your life. Like just get to the three figures. You feel nice in your heart. You feel like you've carried your team somewhere. You are the right person to be in that sport.
Man, that's why English says double figure, single and double. The word double sounds heavier than single. So man, the half century means a lot. To me, maybe, I don't know, but it means a lot to me. And being that it's a 50 over, can imagine what if more batsmen came in and four of them are making half a century or a century? How many runs will those be? You've mentioned of the game India versus England. I just don't know what magic those guys use to make those
It's
runs.
all come through training. There is no magic. Because very good strides there. Of course, top of the world, very good in developing young talent. And every grass which grows in those countries which plays cricket comes with fruits. But in Uganda, we are also trying to get there. Of course, Uganda qualifying for the World Cup last year shows the progress of cricket in this country. Qualifying for the Under 19 World Cup before for the men, for the boys, and Under 19 World Cup for the T20 World Cup in the West Indies shows that the level and steps Uganda Cricket Association has reached, especially in the men. Of course, the women, we are getting there. Last year, we competed at the global qualifiers in Abu Dhabi, where, of course, we met sites like Sri Lanka. But beautiful shot there, carved away that fielder. Of course, there you couldn't do anything. That was a curve, it was hit curving away from him. And a little bit of aggression was from Vishakuma, from Hiren Karai. I was talking about the women and the development. Of course, the strides are being put in, and for me, I believe it. We shall get there. Probably, we just need to move a few chess pieces forward, then we get our things right.
Very correct on what you've said. But being a sports personality in Uganda, you just have to pat your back for the efforts you put in. Many of the countries we compete against, government is involved. Uganda, it's a different story. Me, every time I see a team getting to certain levels, I really appreciate what the associations, all the federations are doing. As you mentioned, it's a process. We hope for the better.
Of course. But there are beautiful cricket there from the Avenger, from the Kutchi Tigers, but here Of course, it's a growing partnership, almost reaching 50 runs. Getting singles, getting some boundaries in. Feel like they're on top of their game. They're just trying to mix it up and probably put pressure on the Avengers. Feel down the track, just drive it to the covers, no run. It's midday in Uganda. Time check.
Talk about time. Time is running, eh? Talk about time. Yuni is doing his bowling there. His last delivery. No batsman could take a move.
Just presenting a full face of the bat there. Hiren Karai. Very beautiful batsman, stroke player. Beautiful aggression in that over coming from the shell end from Yashash, culminating to maximums. Of course, that was beautiful. Both of the same, same length. David Wabwire will come back to ball his fifth over. Of course, very economical, just at an economy of 3 runs per over, just wicketless. Like Sisi said earlier on, they just need a little bit of magic, the Avengers side, to break this growing partnership. Probably they will do so.
What
Beautifully
a
played in
shot.
the
What a
gap
shot.
there.
What a shot. And they struggle to make a double run.
Very good work from my brother Ali in the deep to collect that. It's always a skill to pick up such running balls because you're always moving at a fast speed. So you have to make adjustments with your body to collect that ball as you are bending and make that throw in before they can think of taking that third run. Cut away. Beats that fielder in the Gully region all the way for 4. Very beautiful batting there from the Kutchi Tigers side. He ran Karai on the church, dealing the things from the front. There was a little bit of David Widith on that from David Wawire. Of course, this has been expensive. Run rate almost reaching 5 per over as we approach 30 overs of the inning. A misfield there by the field on the gully after dropping that catch. It was quick onto him. Couldn't get that. And they'll get a single. Probably down after that misfield. Of course, Vasani will come back on strike. Currently at 18 of 31, has played that supportive role beautifully, just mixing up with singles and a couple of boundaries.
Kutchi Tigers at 138 for three. We're in the 29th over, but at the look of things, the clouds are changing so fast. As here, glad that the sun was like somewhere hiding, but it's like the clouds are moving so fast.
It's a dry season in Uganda. Expect the clouds to be very dry. It will collect up in the air, but there will be nothing, no show for it. So, our dear viewers, you shouldn't be worried. It will be as dry as it was yesterday. We shall get some beautiful action here in Lugogo. Of course, earlier on, Paya Soloka getting a very, very strong chance there. Actually, that ball got into his palm, but the force behind it, of course, couldn't do much about it. It just went through. And that will be the end of the 29th over. The score is 139 for 3. Beautiful radar there by Sobi. We rolled down to the keeper, but that was beautifully bowled. They need more of that. The Avengers side seems the partnership is building. They need to get away to terminate this.
As the partnership builds on, also the bowler seems to be gaining more confidence on where to place the ball.
It's an instinct. You get as you run in more and more into your bowling, you get that length which is always getting the better of the batsman to always use that. Probably coming from the Ginger Road end didn't work for Sohobi Yunis because he conceded 20 runs in 2 overs earlier on in the power play. But I see coming from the Shell end has worked for him. He's bowling beautifully. The ball is carrying beautifully to the keeper. That one was a bit slow. The batsman will look to block that one off. Misfield in the backward point region there. They will take a single. Yeah, Nasta Girish apologizing to the rest of the fielders after that display.
That is true sportsmanship when you all know what your goal is. It's very good to know that no human being is perfect. Like anything can happen, a misfield. It's not that you've called for the misfield. It happens, not that it is intentional. So that was a good sportsmanship. It was okay of you. Lennon earlier on has refused to agree. He's telling us our first encounter was when I was lecturing him. But if I'm to recall, well, Lennon, my first encounter with you was over food. Your appetite for food is lunch hour.
I
Now
wouldn't want to dive into that
I remember that one.
on a broadcasting. But it's a family house disagreements, and we always work on our way to improve. I think not only food have you added me, you gave me the food and even gave me knowledge at a later date, which I'm very grateful. People are
Uh,
wondering what knowledge you gave me. It was actually a workshop for the Uganda Olympic Committee on climate to other sporting to sportsmen in administration all over. And I think it's a beautiful thing that what I picked. I don't remember what he told me, but what I remember, the main key thing was how can we conserve the environment for our sports to thrive. Yes, it was a very beautiful workshop, and I believe if there was a person inspired, I never viewed sport in that area as a department which can look out for climate, but it was really nice.
Considering the sport of cricket, I've interacted with many people in cricket, and it's interesting to learn that as athletes, we have to be trained. If I recall very well, it was about our environment, how we protect our environment to see that we thrive. As athletes, there's so many things we look at to be comfortable. But if you look at a cricket pitch, we play on grass. But recently, when I was in Kigali for the Kibuka, as I was interacting with other teams, I got to learn that uh, the Sierra Leone side were competing on a grass pitch, unlike back at home where their training ground is all soil and I don't know how to put it.
The ground is bare.
It's
It
bare.
doesn't
Yeah,
have plants.
it doesn't have. So like those are some of the things apart of apart from thinking of only play, those are some other things we need to think about that also make us comfortable. So I am happy there's something big from that. I'm also an advocate for uh, environment protection. I don't know whether cricket has practice in some of these environmental endeavors because as cricketers, maybe we should think about planting more trees. I don't know what it's all about.
I think cricket, the game itself keeps the environment natural. I think like the rules, you just look at. I'll give an example here where we are. You won't you won't sell it more complex things to make the ground okay to damage the ground's natural. I believe cricket is doing well with that, and even to the ground we've gone to. You see the grass is well maintained. They are using eco-friendly tools. Right from the ball, it's made of trees, stumps. Of course, cutting them is one thing, but again, you can opt for plastic stumps, which is not the case. But that's log swept into the dressing rooms of the first floor, there by Hiren Karai. Looks to be a man dealing in boundaries there. An apology from Yunus Sowobi from overpitching it and giving the batsman the leeway. Beautiful shot there.
It was a six. It was a six to the dressing room. Wow. That shows their hunger for more runs so that they can maybe find themselves in 200 and something runs.
Of course, that's the target currently at 225 as a projected score. But currently, Hiren Karai is at 76, at 70 of 93 balls, moving steadily. Right into the block hole there. Good Yoka by Yunus Hobi. course, the ball trying to get old. Now you will get to understand why the bowlers, why he did that. The ball is not going to do much if you pitch it in the length region. Just go for that block hole area and try to dig out into the batsman's arc. Probably try to get him to miss one.
Happening at the wicket as the batman yearns more for runs. The bowler is yearning more for a wicket, and instead the batman makes a very good shot that gives us how many runs, Lennon?
4 runs as the umpire has shown to the scorers, but beautifully played. That was full and wide. Almost hit those kids playing there. We should be wary of that ball around the offo. That beautiful shot there from Hiren Karai into the 80s, and the score is up to 151 for 3 for Kutchi Tigers. Straight onto that fielder in the backward point region. No run there. No ball there called by the umpire. It can't get any worse there for the Avengers side and the bowler. Of course, that has been there a sign of vindication. Probably it's a free hit. Probably it's not an overstep, but the captain is wary of his fielders outside. Probably it was Hanif Shia outside that region circle. There were 5 outside at the moment. It bowled. No ball into the restaurant. Oh, just follow short of the restaurant. But that's all the way for 6. Hiren Karai on the charge. Of course, Unisobi will be feeling bad that over. Will be looking to complete that. Not the first one he has bowled, which is expensive. But this has been brutal batting here by Hiren Karai.
Talk about Eunice feeling bad. It's 16 runs from this over so far.
Beautiful. Make that a 17th run. Hitting those boundaries now. Looking to go on the non-strikers end of that single and maintain the strike. Probably keep the pressure onto the Avengers bowlers, Ziren Karai, as he strives to get the 100. But that will be the end of the 32nd over. Of course, as we enter the second drinks break, score is 158 for 3. Projected is 250. Would have increased probably in the last 2 overs after those huge boundaries.
Kutchi Tigers at 159 for 3, going in for the 33rd over. Kutchi's main guy with many runs is Hiren Kerai so far. He has 81. And the Kishan Kumal Vasani has 21.
Kishan Vasani, Kishan Kumar, they are playing a pivotal role, as I said earlier. The supporting role. Down the track, all the way for 4 runs there. Hanisha can't get there. Hiren Karai, I told you he's on a charge there to get to the 3-figure mark. The aggression in the last 3 overs has been compared to none. But what is Yashashvi thinking here as a skipper? Because both ends there's been facing a lot of aggression. The runs are continuing to pile up. Beautiful shot there to get off strike. Beautiful cricket from the young man. Score is 165 for the loss of three. Vasani takes strike. Another single. They look to get a couple, but Anifsha collects that beautifully. Gets it back to the Nasta Girish. Nasta Girish currently bowling tightly. Very economical, just an economy of 2.76 per over.
Interesting how the bowlers do it here. When I was looking at Wabile David, his run up was a very long one, wherever he was coming from. When you look at the current Nasta Girish, he's just not even taking a step. It's like a hope and a bowler.
Beautiful shot there by Hiren Karai. That shot does looks easy from the outside, but very hard shot to play over covers all the way for six, flat as you want it. The charge is on. Hiren Karai at 92 of 103 balls. This is very, very good batting with a very slow start. I told you earlier on that he always bats hot and cold. He will go slow, then just reaches a point when it just hits everything, probably to up the rate. But very effective over for the Kutchi Tigers there. And the umpires there are calling a water break after that devastating show from the bowlers. Probably the Avengers side will go back and rethink in that short drinks break of 2.5 minutes. We shall be back. The score is 171 for 3. A good afternoon to our viewers. We are back after the second drinks break. Of course, the score is up and running for Kutchi Tigers. Of course, the score led, of course, that has been influenced by Hiren Kerai's batting, currently at 92 of 104, with his anchor Kishankuma Vasani at 22 of 41. Score currently at 171 for 3. So Obi Yunus, after that devastating over the previous one, he bowled. He will come back into the attack, continue bowling from the shell end, gets one blocked off that first ball after the drinks break. Of course, understandably, the thinking of the Kutchi Tigers will look to build onto this, probably up to the 45th over, just not letting the pressure down. You'll probably get a big, big total for themselves as the proceedings go on.
Lennon, when was the last time you were in Rwanda?
Surprisingly, I've never been to Rwanda. Of course, due to certain responsibilities I can't take off. But of course, that's not a reason not to be there. And soon I'll be there. But that was a quick single in between the two. Very good running in between the wickets. Very athletic. And I'll get back to the Rwanda question. Why I have never been in Rwanda? But it's a beautiful country from the things I see online and the things I hear from friends who have been there before. Yeah, and I wish one day I'll get to be there. As the runs continue toiling up there, bit of a hesitation from the captain to get that ball back to the mid of the wicket. They end up taking a couple.
When Yunus shook his head, did he mean to say good fielding were we there or bad fielding? With this different culture, there's the way you nod the head where it means a yes or a no. Good observation. You're right about wanting to get to the 200 runs mark. So we get back to Kigali. Okay, Kigali, capital city of Rwanda. I've gone to Rwanda many a times. It's my like other district, but many a times sports takes me to Rwanda.
Like your other country.
No, because it's nearby. It's nearby, visa friendly. The same people we meet year in, year out become our brothers and sisters because we have our former coach, Lawrence.
Atlas.
Yes. I'm aware there are players who come here for the Elite League. I'm aware we have players who also go and participate in their league. Anyway, what am I coming to? I've been there and I like the way they have set up their cricket oval. They have one oval, the main oval, and another one, which is okay, not the main oval, but it has been developed in a very shortest period of time because one oval is like within a valley and the other one is at the top. But there's this boundary between both ovals whereby you can watch the game happening, the one that looks like to be in a valley and the one that seems to be on top of the valley. So when I asked, I thought you had been there so that we can compare notes with what we have here and how we are developing our cricket.
Sorry, but you can tell our viewers the comparison because I believe many have been there, so they can get the difference between your comparison. will be probably very vital in the way things are set in Uganda. Probably a copy of notes, not bad. Probably some take the positive, later look at.
And negatives are obvious, but the positives is, I believe, from the corridors. Cricket in Rwanda started from Uganda, but they are running at a very fast pace wherever they are getting the funding from. The key victim in this, I think, is the government, the way they are supporting them, because cricket is played at Gahanga. Gahanga, I'm assuming, is their village, sports village. And at least I've gone to their different cricket ovals. There's one that is within an institution, which is not bad. And that one at Gahanga is also a very good one. But I'm worried in the future they might be in position to host more international than us, being that the ovals are within an eyes distance, because you can stand in the middle to watch what is happening one side of the oval and compare with what is happening on the other side of the oval. I have a story to share with that. And they just concluded people can.
Very beautiful running there between the wickets. Of course, there Vasani getting off strike after clipping one leg side all the way for four. But there, the comparison there between the growth of cricket in the East African region, between you, especially keep key on key emphasis on Uganda and Rwanda. Of course, Rwanda's cricket is an inspiration from Uganda, sport they took on after Uganda's success in recent years. In the years after its incarnation as an associate member of the ICC, think Rwanda's cricket is developing rapidly and well, which is important for the region because when Rwanda hosts, it's not a bad thing. It's actually very important. Being that, as earlier you said, it's a visa-free country for Ugandans. You can just enter with your national ID. Imagine if it's an ICC event. But that's a beautiful boundary cut away by Hiran Kerai, who is almost to the 100-run mark, all the way for four. The Avengers side can't contain the partnership. Hirenkera is three shy of the 100. Will be on strike, probably a ball away or two from the 100-run mark. Ooh, miss out on that one. But that's the end of the 35th over. The score is 187 for three. Getting back to the comparison in the development, I think for me, take the positive note. Even if it's Rwanda, even if it's Kenya, it's a region. For me, when I see cricket developing in Rwanda, it's very important to me. The games I could have traveled from a flight ticket of 1,000 USD, and just put it 20 USD for 50, and I get to Rwanda, get accommodation, see my good cricket come back. Rwanda has hosted good cricket, and for me, I really appreciate it. It's very important that support in either way, whether we host a tournament in Uganda or Rwanda. It's very vital looking at it at regional level. But again, support us as a country, look forward to developing our cricket and being better. We want to host these tournaments. We can't keep on grumping over not hosting the tournament, yet we can't ascertain ourselves with the basic of a cricket match or a ground, a very proper ground. So, but for me, I'm very positive on Rwanda's cricket development, taking up even a very good coach who was a former cricket trained coach, probably one of the people I think I would highly say that is a person who who developed that into a spirit of competing up there at that level. And that shot there will beat that fielder on his left side, bringing up a boundary by Kishankuma Vasani. Score is into 191. The Avengers captain has now a lot of work to do.
Quite interesting. Cricket is one of those games where you don't play time. You play overs, right? And the wickets at hand. So I was here thinking about the game and imagining if it was football, wouldn't it be done by now? Since they play 45 minutes.
Definitely, football is an average of 2 hours, 45 minutes. 45 minutes as in two halves and a 15-minute break at a half. And if it's a playoff playoff match, will go for approximately 2 hours and 30 minutes. But of,
A misfield there, and they make some run.
yes, but of course, this is the reason why cricket is interesting. You don't play time, you play another limit because they are again there the other limits because now, like for example, white ball cricket, you will play the limit is the number of balls. Of course, there is a preset time in which the balls have to be delivered. But again, you can always choose to bowl the whole day and you get your penalties at the end of the day, which is not the cause. But again, what I love, when there is again red ball cricket, which are for the top, which is a white first class cricket. But I think for me, it's one of the reasons why I love cricket to enjoy the game more. You think there is an opportunity. So if you play longer, that means there is a big chance for you to shine more than you have less time to do very many things that can go. So it's a very good sport to engage in young people watching. Of course, the partnership building here is reaching up to 120 runs between 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 Hiren and Vasani. It's at 117.
Yeah, talk about the game. It's an interesting game. It's a gentleman's game. I like what I'm seeing. Apart from us watching Avengers trying to squeeze Kutchi Tigers by the sides of the oval, you realize there are some young children trying to take on the basics, the game of cricket, which is promising because for any game to be sustainable and identify talents, it has to start from the grassroots. That is where I find challenges with our national team, where you find players being changed every time we have to go out to compete. Unlike other teams we compete against, you find the changes are not so many. Why? They have a culture of sustainability and trying to keep that bonding. Bonding matters as when you started from and how you phase out. Because many a times if you're not phased out by an injury, it's by age.
Hiren Karai on strike, two away from 100. Beautiful batting from the young lad throughout the innings. They are blowing hot and cold at different intervals. Just two away from the three-figure mark. You'll call no run there from the last ball. Oh, correct it from the second last ball, and you will have to face the final ball of the over. The score is 195 for 3 for Kutchi Tigers. This is what it's all about 50 over cricket. Get those partnerships. big partnerships break the bowlers. That was quick and that dropped there by the wicket keeper. Bit of agony. That's why the hands are on heads by the fielders there. That the keeper dropped that. And they dropped the on form batsman at 98. What a it always happens. Chance.
When you hear that sound from the players, you realize Kuchi Tigers are longing for a wicket because now we're at this 37th over 37th over done, and it is 195 for three, and Kuchi Tigers still has a number of wickets at hand, and they seem to be safe. Whom I believe, if they came on, would make more runs.
Shakuma Vasani, trademark with facing off spin without a helmet. Currently 10 shy away from a half century. Very been good. Very big. Has played well in supporting. There, a miss. Chance of a run out will end up the batsman taking a single. Two chances in two balls there for Avengers. One at the end of the previous over, a caught behind, and now a run out there at the bowler's end as the batsman wasn't in his crease. Flicked leg side. Fielder will take on that. Coast still two away from the 100, just off 112 balls. Is Hiren Karai guided? Find that fielder well placed in the point region. Of course, the clouds have built up, but like I've told you, the forecast. I believe that a great percentage in that it won't rain, but a little bit of darkness around the stadium probably could affect somebody's batting in the middle. Grouping bodies all over the field there. Surprisingly, Muhammad Anif Shah, that's hit hard. We'll find the field at the long off region. Kiren will move comfortably at 99. Probably say that I'll live another day to survive and take my 100. Score is steadily approaching to the 200 run mark as the groundsmen take on the covers in preparation to cover the field in case becomes disastrous. Drizzles upon us as there seems to be an interruption in rain.
Yeah, the sound of rain, raindrops, the sound of raindrops giving us signs the rains are coming. Lennon, I told you, Ugandan weather is unpredictable.
It seems the umpires have called on the covers and we shall have an interruption in play. The Kutchi Tigers are at 197 for 3. And there we have an interruption of the game. The rain which wasn't thought of coming through because of the temperature at hand has finally come through. Ren Karai, shy of 99, shy of 1 to reach 100. The covers have gone on over with a new play so the weather to clear and get back to play. We shall be back after the rain has cleared the document.